Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by the reason for the season, John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. Merry Christmas, my friend. How are you doing today?
TJ, how dare you say that? The left police are going to come take you away for saying Merry Christmas. Don't you know there's a war going on?
Oh boy, John, the war on Christmas. That's actually this year I've seen a lot less war on Christmas stuff than I would have expected. Because the war on Christmas, I think I was at ground zero of the war on Christmas. Like when this offensive finally first took off, it was, believe it or not, I used to be a big Bill O'Reilly fan. I used to watch Bill O'Reilly every single night as a kid, and Bill O'Reilly back in the 2000s, he was heavy charging on this war on Christmas thing. It was every holiday season, and then Fox News did a whole bunch of stuff on it. There's a great interview with Sam Cedar I got to dig up now that we're talking about it. But conservatives had a common thing where they would talk about these stores have happy holidays and not Merry Christmas, and that's an affront to me, and now I'm upset about it. And most people celebrate Christmas anyway, so what are they afraid of? They're trying to stifle Christmas. And of course, it's never really been a thing at all. But even when Trump was in office the first time, I remember him say, he's got to say it eventually. It's December 23rd. I haven't heard him say it yet. But every year he says, you can say Merry Christmas again. Aren't you happy? You can say Merry. You couldn't say that before. But I haven't heard him say, I mean, he's had a pretty busy month. But yeah, it's in fact, the whole Christmas season in general this year has been kind of blah and everything. And I heard a good theory on this because I didn't know other people felt the same way. Thanksgiving was so late this year. Thanksgiving was like the 28th of November, pretty much. Like I remember commenting on how incredibly late that Thanksgiving was. Usually the 21st or 23rd or something like that. So maybe that's something to do with it. But yeah, Christmas season kind of dour this year.
100%. A couple things there. Bill O'Reilly, one, excellent. Like anyone who says that Bill
So good.
O'Reilly isn't talented at what he does is lying to you. He's a horrific person for what he does, but he is one of the best to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid, I didn't agree with Bill O'Reilly or anything, but I saw that guy and I was like, I want to learn to do what he does.
Yep.
He does it so well. The way that he would present a story was top tier. And honestly, I don't think that there's been anyone in the conservative media sphere to reach his height since then. It's actually kind of as much as he deserved his coup de grace for the action. It was just the consequences of his own actions coming to bite him in the ass. Watching him now is sad. Like, if you ever watch Bill O'Reilly, it's just like you can see that like the fight has left the dog, but he's still limping, I guess, for money, and it's just really sad to watch. Go ahead.
I can't imagine O'Reilly still needs the money at this point. Maybe he does. I don't know.
He's got a lot of lawsuits to settle, man.
He had a lot of lawsuits, but I always figured that it was the love of the game. You know, when O'Reilly is like a born speaker. I think he just has to do it. What's really sad to me about Bill O'Reilly, sad, but is listening to him talk, because Bill O'Reilly had this booming voice whenever he was on Fox News, and of course he was a bully and everything like that, but he enunciated his words clearly. He was captivating. But now I was like, Jesus, I never would have guessed O'Reilly would have sounded like, even as an old man, I would have thought his voice would be above average. But he's like, I mean, it's not Robert F. Kennedy Jr. levels, but Bill O'Reilly is like, he's hard to listen to now, which I never would have guessed that would have happened to him. But, you know, humans, we fall apart.
The same feeling I get watching out or listening to Al Michaels on the Thursday Amazon Prime. It's just like, it's sad. I'm like, please just retire. I understand you're making millions, but it is sad to watch. It makes me want to cry. But you mentioned Christmas and the war on Christmas. First of all, Trump has mentioned it. You just haven't seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay.
Trump has said it. And it's always funny. You know, they I don't know how many of them actually keep going into this battle, TJ. Like, I feel like it just is comfortable for them at this point. I don't think it's getting any asses out of seats. I don't think people are actually getting all that upset about it because, again, no one has ever been upset about saying Merry Christmas. It's a total fabrication. It's been a fabrication my entire life. They've been lying about this shit since I was a kid. I remember War on Christmas material when I was a kid, and nothing has changed. People say Merry Christmas all the time, and no one gives a flying fuck. It is, I've understood why it became a thing in the media, but I don't understand why it's still a thing or why anyone cares about it. Now, you named this episode The Atheists Guide to Christmas, and I don't know why. And I'm very interested because that is a great headline for this show, TJ.
No, I just thought of it at the last second because I didn't set the link up until an hour ago, and I said, oh, I gotta think of something, and I remembered a video I made on TikTok maybe 2 years ago, and in the video I was talking about one of the common refrains you'll hear from assholes or Christians who are being dicks, and it's like, hey, you don't believe in God. Why are you celebrating Christmas? Well, because Christmas fucking rocks, man. It's great. It's fun. Like it is. I have a ton of memories associated with it. You don't need to worship Saturn to recognize that Saturday is fun sometimes. Right. I mean, it's cool. Right. So also it also played into what we do in that we're secularists and we're leftists, and people assume that we have no joy in our lives, and we can talk about it that way, or we could also use it to arm ourselves against a lot of the nonsense people try to use to weaponize Christmas, like the war on Christmas, for example. And here's my theory on what you're talking about, how it's not getting asses out of seats. I agree that it's not. The American public is primed for conspiracy theories and panics. We're not getting away from that. The war on Christmas really hit its height maybe 10 years ago or something, and it's kind of been chugging along since. And the reason it's not putting asses in seats is that everyone who's pissed off about this is already voting straight ticket Republican, right? Like they're not going to be, charging up anyone new on this. But I wanted to show this clip about the war on Christmas thing. You know who Sam Cedar is, right? You have to.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but this is a clip from Jesus. It looks like 1,000,000 years ago, judging by the quality of this video here. But he is doing a report or an interview with some guy from some Christian organization, and he's claiming that there's a war on Christmas, and Sam isn't, and it is fantastic. I think we'll show it.
A Christmas tree or a holiday tree? Which should it be? Depends on whom you ask. We've seen controversy, most notably prompted by the White House. It sent out cards, this card, matter of fact, wishing a holiday season of hope and happiness. No mention of Christmas. Some thoughts now on the subject. Sam T was the show Majority Report on Air America Radio. Bob Knight is the director of the Culture and Family Institute. It's affiliated with the Christian conservative organization Concerned Women for America. Gentlemen, great to have you with me.
Thanks for having us on.
All right, well, let's start with the holiday card. What do you think, Sam?
Well, listen, as far as the war on Christmas goes, I feel like we should be waging a war on Christmas. I mean, I believe that Christmas, it's almost proven that Christmas has nuclear weapons, can be an imminent threat to this country, that they have operative ties with terrorists, and I believe that we should sacrifice thousands of American lives in pursuit of this war on Christmas. And hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
Well, Sam, is it a war on Christmas, a war on Christians, a war on...
You are muted, my friend.
Thanks. I want to acknowledge something there real quick, that Sam going in saying that, hey, this is a war on Christmas, and treating it like it's an actual war, hilarious, especially since this is going on in the height of the war on terror, when people are actually dying overseas for nonsense and everything. But after he goes off on this obvious satire, the reporter doesn't miss a beat. Okay, Sam, well, tell us more of what you think. That's kind of wild. But have you seen this clip, by the way, John?
I have not seen that clip.
Wait. Okay.
Finish.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad I'm going to show you this. All right, there's so much more.
Pause it now. Okay, now,
where is it? Okay.
Should sacrifice thousands of American lives in pursuit of this war on Christmas. And hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
Well, Sam, is it a war on Christmas, a war on Christians, a war on over political correctness, or just a lot of people with way too much time on their hands?
Well, I would say probably, if I was to be serious about it, too much time on their hands. But I'd like to get back to the operational ties between Santa Claus and Al-Qaeda.
I don't think that exists. Bob?
Well, we have
Help
intelligence.
Me out here.
We have intelligence.
You have intel. And where exactly does your intel come from?
Well, we have tortured an elf. And that's actually how we got the same information from al-Libi. That's exactly the same way the Bush administration got this info about the operational ties between Al-Qaeda and Saddam.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, that is one of my favorite clips. We tortured an elf is a Hall of Fame comeback on the spot like that. Maybe he had it ready. I don't know. But it seems like hard to predict that that'd be the question that she would ask. But, yeah, that is how you handle stuff like this. If people are going to claim that there is some sort of evil cabal out there who are interested in ruining Christmas cheer like a cartoon villain or something, like not even a real thing. That's how you should treat them. It's all the respect they deserve.
TJ, I thought that the strategy there was quite funny and quite good and quite ahead of its time. I thought the execution was lacking up until we tortured Nell.
We tortured Nell.
Fantastic. And you're right. That's actually, it reminds me a lot of his Jubilee appearance when he went on there and he just framed all of his questions to make his opponent say the most ridiculous thing. And that it very much inside the mind of Sam Cedar, I see. It's cool to see that track. I really love watching clips of people who are, I guess, are at their height today as they were building that personality and that character and what they're going to present. And it's always so interesting to go back in time and see them in their early days. And that was fantastic. Really good job.
Some kid 20 years from now is going to be watching these clips and saying, hey, that's White House press secretary for President Mamdani, John Cooper Potts. Look at him telling dick jokes on the internet. Wow, that guy's come a long way. So, yeah.
Oh, look, he went from telling dick jokes on the internet to, oh, wait, no, he's still telling dick jokes.
Telling dick jokes in the White House. Yeah, of course, yeah. So
no, but I mean, you're right. The war on Christmas, it is so absurd that the best way to fight it is with absurdity. And that is the exact way to approach it, except for, like, I don't know how to deal with that in real life, though, TJ. Like, if I experienced a real person that I actually knew complain about the war on Christmas, I don't even know how I would approach them. I don't even know how I would talk to them. Like, what the fuck are you talking? I just said Merry Christmas to you. I'm the socialist you fear, bro.
Yeah. In real life, it's tricky, especially depending on the audience. Because if it's a stranger or an acquaintance, it's a lot easier to go to the reductio ad absurdum. If it's a family member that you kind of like, and a lot of times you'll run across the people who said, oh man, I didn't know you were one of them too. And it kind of, I mean, you probably should expect it a lot of times, but it is, all right, I'm going to tell a story, John. I don't think I told you before, but she doesn't watch the show, so I'm going to be fine with this. But a couple of years ago, I had a family member, an auntie, who had a stroke. And she's very, very close to me, has been my entire life. And she has recovered from the stroke, from, as much as you can recover from a stroke. She has a hard time talking, and performing some functions and everything. And I think it was last year, I went to visit her. And I was helping her with some stuff around the house and giving her some rides, some appointments and everything. And my sister called her while I was there. And while she was talking to her, I overheard my sister saying, hey, who did you vote for in the last election? And my auntie wouldn't answer the question. She just wouldn't answer it. And which I said, okay, if you don't answer the question, we're going to assume you voted for Donald Trump, right? Like, we're just going to assume that. She said, yeah. I said, and you still won't answer the question? And I was devastated. I was heartbroken over this. And then after getting over that, I mean, to the extent that you can in a few minutes or whatever, we just started talking politics. And I just started launching into arguments against this about why Trump was a terrible person. The poor woman can barely talk, right? And I felt like I was being a bully. And I said, okay, I love her so much. I love her with my entire heart. And I said, I'm just going to let this slide. I'm just going to let it go. After a while, your heart grows 3 sizes. And it's like, but it's a tough situation because I was like, I'm here saying that Trump supporters are Nazis. Am I calling my auntie a Nazi? I am. I am, but it doesn't mean I still love her, though. It's difficult. So, yeah, that's tricky whenever you're dealing with people that you kind of know and people that you genuinely love. It's a little difficult to go that route. I understand.
And that's a common thing for people around the holiday season is connecting with those MAGA aunts and uncles that, I don't relate, TJ, because I do have aunts and uncles who I know have been Republican actually most of their lives, but like they're not like they hate Trump, and the ones that did vote for Trump, they're assholes who don't come around much for other reasons.
Yes.
So like, and anyone who wants for once again a political discussion, like they don't want these hands. So like it's always kind of checking in. Hey, John, what is going on here? It's never they're trying to fight because they know they're just not up for it. Like they just don't. they don't want to get into the deep water,
Yes, yeah. This is actually that's kind of a bonus of being people like us, that people would imagine we get into a lot of political fights. We don't. Like we actually don't. If people are even have a cursory knowledge of your skill set, like, yeah, that's nothing that they want anything to do with. And I had talked about politics with her. You know me, like every time I was around, I mentioned politics. She knew what they were, but I realized thinking about it, she would only ask me questions. She would never give opinions of her own on anything. And of course, being the egomaniac, I didn't ask, and so I just kind of preached mine out there. So I didn't see it coming. I did not, because you're right. The MAGA people, the folks who support Trump, they're assholes. They want you to know they're assholes. They're proud of it. So
Yeah.
she's just a very kind, sweet, caring person. And it's like, wow, that I didn't see coming. I couldn't handle it. My brain kind of malfunctioned.
Well, so did hers.
Very good, very good.
I'm sorry, I had to go.
Dunking on my family member with a brain injury. Holy shit, John. Merry Christmas indeed.
As a proud Pennsylvanian, I understand how one stroke can make you suddenly turn to MAGA.
Oh, okay. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point.
I mean, it is a thing, and it is like hard to hold that space and be like, hey, I need to be ready to be this person's life raft in case they ever decide to get off the hopefully soon to be sinking ship. And also, fuck, I hate dealing with this. I hate that this person who I love is like this, and it's hard to reconcile. And I think this is a failing of our own in some way, is that fascists aren't always bad people.
Yep.
And that's going to sound like, you can clip that and it will sound bad, but it's true. That's the really deceptive part of fascism, of racism, of white supremacy. Mm-hmm. And you actually read like what academics say about fascism, about white supremacy, about any of these things, they will tell you, hey, it's not about hatred. It's not about just pure bigotry. And in fact, framing it as such allows white supremacists and fascists to hide their actual belief system. And that's what the case is. A lot of these people who are voting for straight up fascism, you would look at them and just be like, oh, they're a normal fucking person. And they believe themselves to be a normal fucking person. And they act like a normal fucking person. But they support a fascist regime. And it's really hard for people to decouple fascist from bad person, even though people have supported I've supported terrible regimes because they're my only choice. So I kind of understand how one might be duped into getting there if they believe the other choice is actually the really bad one. Like it isn't actually all that complicated.
Yeah. And also, you mentioned that a lot of, regular people, a lot of good people are fascists and everything, and how they don't realize it. And a lot of it isn't their fault. There's plenty of people out there who have more. Tucker Carlson knows he's a fascist, and he should know better, but he chooses to be evil in spite of what he knows. But your average American, we've talked about this on the show, that if you just go through the American public education system, you're going to come out kind of fashy, right? You're everything you're taught is fascist rhetoric. The United States is the greatest nation that's ever lived. If you even question that, there's something wrong with you. Pledge allegiance to the state as a 4-year-old. I also like that you pledge allegiance to the flag first and the country second. I've always thought that was funny. That's kind of odd in that pledge, that the founding fathers were demigods, essentially. The United States is the hero of planet Earth. Why wouldn't you be a fascist? It's amazing that more of us aren't, actually. It's kind of amazing that more of us don't just buy into that. So it's kind of tough. And I wanted to mention something when you were dunking on my auntie having a stroke, that the what's his name, John Fetterman reference you made with having a stroke and turning you into a conservative. I started thinking about this a few weeks ago. I was driving out to one of the communities I was working with, and I passed a retirement home, like an old folks home, nursing center. And I started thinking about whenever people suffer brain injuries and brain damage and stuff, and you go talk to them, a lot of them end up in weird conspiracy theories. They start thinking the earth is flat, or they become anti-Jewish people or something like that. You never see someone get a stroke and become more left-wing, right? It never happens. I can't think of any time I knew someone and they had a stroke and then I saw them afterward, they're like, universal health care. We should really get on. I've never seen it happen. They've always become far right religious zealots and fascists. And I'm just saying, I think there's a reason for that. I haven't have studies on this, but we all know it's true.
TJ, there is one documented case of someone clearly showing stroke symptoms and then immediately becoming more left wing.
Okay.
And that is A Christmas Carol, one Ebenezer Scrooge. He clearly suffered a stroke, thought he was visited by three ghosts, and immediately gave away all of his money to charity. Keep in with the season, DJ. This is our Q&A episode, by the way. So if you guys,
it is. You're right. Oh yeah,
we
not a
can
lot of
answer
Q&As. Wow, huh?
We have Epstein file stuff to talk about, TJ. But I did want to get on a soapbox.
Let's go.
Because there's reasons to be optimistic about things. I'm often the optimistic one. I made a post on Threads, and the response to it from Blue MAGA has left me just incredibly disillusioned with our chances of any sort of victory or success. It's really bad. And sometimes I'll make a post, and I'll be like, this is bait. I know I'm baiting.
Oh, yeah.
Response here. I know what I'm doing. I've been at this long enough. This one, not at all. Not the case. I thought that this would just be a kind of normal take here, but apparently it upset 824 fucking people.
Doesn't see it.
79 who liked it. All I did was say the left doesn't have anything remotely close to Turning Point USA in either size or relevance, and it's shocking how little effort Democrats have put into fixing that problem. TJ, people are so mad at this. People are saying we're not a cult. We would never have Turning Point USA.
Jesus
not
Christ.
having something
Jesus
like Turning
Christ.
Point is a huge win. Christian nationalism has no place in our politics. Democrats aren't impressed by pyrotechnics and group hate. And I'm just like, what?
Wow, man.
What?
Wow.
Right, like I'm not crazy here. Like that was not worded as bait. I mean, maybe I was like attacking Democrats a little bit, but like that's pretty par for the course with my content. So that shouldn't be surprising. I was shocked with how much people seem to be unable to separate the concept of having a propaganda machine targeted at young voters specifically and made to turn young people into, our core audience, and the bad shit that Turning Point USA does. Like they're completely incapable of imagining a version of Turning Point USA that doesn't turn people down a bad road. And I like went back and forth with a couple of them because like I need to understand why you think this. And they just keep going like, yeah, well, they do this. They were founded by this bigot. And I was like, yeah, but ours wouldn't
it be founded?
TJ, I swear to God, I'm usually pretty on. Like I can usually get the pulse. I was off on this one. I did not expect the backlash.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too, since you're telling me that, because I didn't think it was just us last year, people like us who were saying the left needs a Joe Rogan, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that
became like a very popular mainstream talking point.
Yeah, that wasn't some far dirtbag left type of thing. That was pretty mainstream. So they got that part, but yeah, the Charlie Kirk thing, it reminds me of Joe Biden's presidential debate, the last one he did against Trump, when everyone watching that, well, we watched it live, me, you, and Nick Powers, and all three of us said, yeah, Biden lost that debate. Don't know if it's over. You called it. You said that it's over. He's done. He's out. I wasn't sure about the time, but he absolutely lost that debate. Every poll that I saw was the same. It was 70-30, 65-35 that Biden lost the debate. And I would talk about it, and Democrats would say, no, he didn't lose the debate because Trump lied the whole time. And once again, I had the same thing. I said, okay, you're not answering the question I'm asking here. Like you're addressing a different issue. Like debates are not honesty competitions. Like they're about performance and they're about competency. And whoever projects themselves as someone who's strong and knows what they're talking about will probably win. They can bullshit the entire time, but if you can't do that, and you tell the truth the whole time, you're going to lose. And they kept saying, no, you don't understand. Biden actually won. I said, well, what does winning mean to you? And saying that we need another a left wing Turning Point USA or something. They're literally hearing maybe we should be bigots. Maybe we should just be racist now and get vote. I don't know. I'm not knowing that happened with Biden. I kind of expect that a lot now, but I would not have guessed from that post that we need to activate a way to engage the votes of young people, which by the way was something the left has taken for granted. It's their own fault because they always assumed that the fact that popular mainstream culture for 60 years now has been moderately left wing. There's always been something was social progress and all that, and MTV's Rock the Vote. I remember them doing that in the 90s. It was just a left wing thing. But yeah, the Republicans aren't going to lose in perpetuity. Sometimes they're going to win. You're going to need a plan. If you don't think about it, you end up like we are now. By the way, sorry John, I keep rambling on this, and I've been warning this too about the minority vote. You cannot just expect the minority vote to always go to Democrats. It usually does, and historically, it's been pretty strong. Even with Trump's big gains this election, the minority vote still went to Democrats. But a lot of minority populations are socially pretty damn conservative. And if you don't give people anything on the economic side to make their lives better, they're going to do the same thing that white people do and embrace culture and culture war nonsense. So yeah, the Democrats and Democratic politicians and policies have a lot they need to work on with their imagination and captivating the votes of the young.
And something that I found particular. Well, first of all, I want to say, Colby says Merry Wokemas. Glad he didn't miss this. Thank you, Colby. Merry Wokemas to you. We can't say Merry Christmas. It will literally get us assassinated by whoever killed Charlie Kirk. And so that we can't say that. But the thing that struck me so much is that people are like, we're not in a cult. We're not, like, that was the biggest response I got on that post. And yet the only reasons that they were pointing out of why Turning Point is just in group out group bias. Like, you're literally acting, you're in your retort. You're saying, oh, we're not in a cult. We're not like them. It's like, yes, you are. You're being like them right now. And that's why we need a Turning Point USA, to get motherfuckers like you to fall in line, because you clearly cannot think for yourself. Like, it's they just see that. And you know what the even more concerning part is, TJ? The fact that it switched that much. Because you're right. I hadn't even thought about this. A year ago, this was a mainstream talking point. The left needs a left-wing Joe Rogan. And somehow in the past year, this has not materialized. There has been nothing. There has been nada. There is not a single organization that I can point to and even say, that's it right there. They're working on it. That's our Turning Point USA. Doesn't exist. Midas Touch has seen the largest amount of growth, I would say, since the Trump election win. But that's for old people. Like Midas Touch. My grandfather loves Midas Touch. And don't get me wrong, they do some good work over there. They make great content. I kind of look to them for pointers.
That's so funny.
But they're not capturing the young people. Let's not joke ourselves. And so the fact that we don't have anything like this a year into this, after this being a mainstream talking point, and people are like, oh shit, Turning Point is now, the aesthetic is displeasing to people. And I understand why the aesthetic is displeasing to people. Don't get me wrong. But even just, hey, we should have something like that. They're like, no, that's too close to bad. I can't have it. And that's so just, as I said, disheartening to me. It just makes me very sad and very pessimistic about our ability to make real progress and real change if this is the type of people that we're dealing with.
Oh, man. That was such a dagger with the Midas Touch thing, because Midas Touch is what I would think of with a large organization that's solidly left-leaning, that makes great content, whatever. But I hadn't thought about that, the fact that they're for old people. And when you said it, I thought of two people who've been on the show who both work for Midas Touch. Tennessee Brando and Coach D. Both of them are in their 50s. When you said it, I was like, damn, okay, all right. I hadn't thought about that. But
those are great. Again, these are not knocks.
They're great.
You might touch or those creators.
No, at all. They're amazing.
They do great work, but they're not getting, when I hang around my little cousins, they quote Charlie Kirk. Even the ones that aren't like conservative leaning ones, like they are very well aware of Charlie Kirk. They're very well aware of that whole ecosystem. They could not tell you a single contributor to Midas Touch, not a single one, and that is concerning.
Colby commented here, I think the problem with needing a leftist Joe Rogan is that Joe was big and famous before his turn to politics. We talked about this before too, in that I always say the left already had their Joe Rogan. They had Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, I mean, I don't know. I say one's bigger than the other because you're talking about two different media ecosystems. But if there was someone who would have been Joe Rogan in 2012, it was no one else came close to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, it was. I think we said that Jon Stewart would be a great choice to Democrat. If we're gonna run celebrities now, just fucking do it. But I think Stewart's moment was in the last like 6 or 8 years or so. Now I think his star was kind of faded, and no one has their fastball forever. But so we had our chance with our Joe Rogan, and what do we do with it? What happened? It didn't. Go as far as we'd like. I guess Obama got elected. I mean, hey, we thought that would be a great victory at the time. But yeah, with Joe Rogan, also another different thing with Joe Rogan, it ties into what Colby said about him being famous before politics, is that Joe Rogan didn't start off as a politics show. I imagine, John, you seem like the kind of guy who would have listened to Joe Rogan years ago. I did. Before COVID, it wasn't weird. It wasn't politically coded to listen to Joe Rogan. And that's tougher to do. That link people, hook people in with just your content and then switch to politics. That could take some work, and it's a long time coming, but I don't know.
Well, that's like, I think that like the idea of a left-wing Joe Rogan is untenable. Like that just has to be created organically, because they cannot come from the world of politics if they're going to be in that niche. Like Jon Stewart, people forget this. The Daily Show before Jon Stewart was apolitical. It was not political at all. It was a comedy show, pure and simple comedy show. And Jon Stewart is the one that gave it that satirical bite and that edge to it. And that's what took it to what it is. But even then, it was in the beginning mostly comedy. It didn't become the political Daily Show until well into its run. It started as mostly comedy, commentary on current events. That's what got it big. And then he made it mostly political. That's what you need, and it needs to be organic. You can't just create that. However, you can create Turning Point USA. Like, Turning Point USA is something that can be built from the ground up as a political organization. And I'm not saying it's easy. Like, I'm not saying, oh, well, just fucking do it. I mean, I am kind of saying just fucking do it. But I'm not saying that it's not hard, but I'm saying that you should be able to accomplish hard things if you are one of the wealthiest political organizations in the history of the world, is the Democratic Party. Like, they should be able to do it. And at least I should be able to point to someone a year in and be like, that could be it. That could be it right there. Hasn't materialized, DJ. Not even in the slightest.
I gotta say, you were mentioning the success of Turning Point USA. It's funny to say that out loud, because in 2020, after the 2020 election, I remember. You know where I'm going with this. I'm sure.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah. I would make fun of Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA because the youth vote tanked. Nothing. They had nothing at all. Arizona, which is where Turning Point was based out of, had like the lowest Republican support for 18 to 30-year-olds of any state, or like near the bottom. So I think, man, they've poured millions into Charlie Kirk, and this thing's a complete disaster. I am kind of shocked how like you mentioned that your little cousins will quote Charlie Kirk. Like, what is cool about I'm not being like old man here shitting on what young people like, whatever. I genuinely don't get the appeal of Charlie Kirk. He's go to church and don't swear so much and pull up your pants. It's like, this is what you would hear from a grandfather. Why? I don't see how that's appealing to a 16-year-old. I really don't. It's kind of like, anomaly is the wrong word, but I have a heart. I mean, I know like the political culture and the environment of young men feeling emasculated and feeling kind of lost, and the Jordan Peterson, people who needed that. I got that, but I wouldn't have guessed it'd be this powerful. I'm still kind of stunned to hear stuff like that kids who, like, I imagine your little cousins aren't religious zealots or anything, or maybe not even or maybe they are super you would hear that you hear like Charlie Kirk who aren't even who wouldn't describe themselves as actual conservatives and or don't even care about politics. It's weird that it worked at all, actually.
It is weird. So there's a couple of things here, TJ. I 100% agree. Like after 2020, I thought Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk was a total clown show.
Yep.
And if I were to have pointed to in 2020 the organizations that were going to be what Turning Point is now, it would have been the Daily Wire. It would have been maybe even Prager. You know, it would not have been. Turning Point was the silly little cousin, and it just totally took over. And I feel like it's specifically because of its interconnectedness with Trump. And JD Vance was the Turning Point guy. JD Vance was Charlie Kirk's guy, and he won the vice president spot. Charlie Kirk understood, I feel like, better than Ben Shapiro and better than Prager and better than these other Crowder, whatever, like Rumble, all that. He understood that Trump is where the bread gets buttered. And the closer you can get to Trump, the closer you're going to be. His strategy didn't work in 2020 because he didn't have the time to percolate. But by 2024, it did. Those 14 to 16-year-olds that he was really attracting in 2020, well, fuck, in 2024, those became 20 to 22-year-olds, and they were voting now. And that is a big change in why it became a more powerful organization. And also, the thing that you're pointing out here, I see this content all the time because I do have people I know, especially little cousin, little like younger teenage 20-something people in my life that I like get this information from, how it's going on. And I get the posts, I get the stories and stuff like that. And it's so shocking what they're saying, especially the Christian ones, especially the Christian nationalist side of this. It's this Christianity cloaked as counterculture.
Yeah.
It's this, like you were saying there, like the pull up your pants, that sort of thing. It is what we grew up with, like the millennial generation, as like that is youth pastor speak. Oh, well, Jesus was kind of an anarchist. He kind of stuck it to the man, didn't he? And we saw that and we were like, bro, that's just the dorkiest shit I've ever heard. And they see it. And I guess because the culture has shifted, I guess because millennials are the old people now, it's now kind of legit counterculture in a way. It's weird to say that going from, again, let's not talk about how this is coming from an organization that is directly tied to the administration in power in the White House in the United States of America. But like, it is kind of a cultural shift that has allowed this as well. Like the pendulum had to swing all the way back for that kind of thing to be able to be considered counterculture for young people to attach to it. And I like a part of me kind of gets where they're coming from, TJ. Like I kind of understand why that messaging, that ethos, that ideology is seen as some edgy, rebellious thing, especially when you get to tell other people what to do when you're doing it. Especially when it gives you the moral authority to feel good about yourself for telling other people they're bad. That was always been the appeal of the evangelicals, nationalists. So it does make sense that at this particular moment in time, that is appealing to young people. I don't think so.
I can only see life from my eyes. I can't. Things happen, and you don't know what it would be otherwise. Tautologies and all. But I kind of understand it in one sense why they would embrace conservatism as counterculture. In that a lot of times liberals and leftists can be just really fucking annoying, and we will insist upon something that is, I guess, technically more compassionate or more kind or more truthful in while sacrificing efficiency or normal. So I like if you talked about, hey, we're going cooking and we're making gingerbread man. Oh, you mean gingerbread person or something? We all know someone like this. That is frustrating. It's annoying as fuck, and no one likes that. I get rebelling against that. I don't get the church thing. I don't get that at all. I don't understand why. Oh man, I really. Oh, sorry, I didn't even click that. Go to church a whole lot more. That sounds really good. And embracing Christian nationalism. I don't know. That's the weird part to me. But what is going to be weird about these next, 10 years probably, is that the right wing is running out of euphemisms, and they're kind of just admit, a lot of them, the young people, I think, they don't understand why you have to couch your words. If you want to just kick Mexicans out, why do you keep saying stuff like we need to protect American jobs? Don't just say you want to kick Mexicans out. Like, why are we dancing around this? And I don't know if you've seen this clip. This is this lady in here. Her name is Lily Gaddis. She became famous last year, I believe, for dropping the N-word in one of her TikToks, and she started a whole right-wing career based on this. And this guy, I don't know who he is, but they're talking about the problems that young white men are running into and finding a good white Christian girl to procreate with and preserve the white race. And get ready for this, folks. This is what your average conservative is going to sound like 10 years from now. Like, I guarantee it. Have you seen this, John, by the way, before I start?
I have. I recognize the girl from that. Now that you brought it up, I've never seen this guy with his fucking walrus mustache at the age of what 20 fucking. Like that's a ridiculous fucking look. I can't take this guy seriously already.
Okay, all right. Before we start this, I'm glad you commented on the absurdity of stuff. What the fuck is going on? Listen, I get it. Like, John and I understand more than anyone out there. You need something to hook people in and draw them, and just like, but these guys, this is a predominantly right-wing thing where they will try, like, not even try to look like youth pastors, try to look like senior pastors from 60 years ago. And it's like, I got it. Like, when we're like teenage boys or, you know, guys in their early 20s, you want to look older. I understand that. But you try to do something to age yourself up by 5 or 6 years or something. We all knew a kid in high school who took a briefcase to school instead of a book bag or something to try to look more mature or whatever. This is just like a weird version of this where they all have these giant Abe Lincoln beards or massive mustaches. They got their cigars and their library in the background. It's like, dude, you're 24. Like, act like it. But okay, here we go.
The young white man, you are truly alone. All the young white guys need to team up because it is us against the world. Everyone hates us. You guys need to wake up to that fact. We need to become racist and we need to take charge.
And by the way, don't buy into this propaganda that all white girls are just whores. Let's go to fucking Colombia and get a cheap hooker.
Yeah.
This passport bro bullshit, that's Jewish as fuck. That's a Jewish psyop to make you have mongrel babies.
If you're non-white, if I was non-white and I wasn't in this battle like I am, if I was a black dude, I would be a passport bro.
Yeah.
For non-whites, I get it. Because you can go to a third world country and get a much hotter girl. You just can't. As an American with like more money, you can pull something way better in a third world country. But she's gonna be brown. But if you're a black dude or if you're a brown dude, that's fine. If I was non-white, I think I would be a passport bro. But if you're white, we're gonna have to wife up these hoes. You're gonna have to suck it up and wife up one of these American white girls, and but it'll be okay.
Your race matters that much. Like, your race in 10 generations, your line will have continued, and nobody will care that your great great grandmother was a hoe because you exist.
Okay, I'll pause right there. I don't know if I'll finish it or not, but I wanted to get the immediate reaction from the traitor to the white race, John Cooper Paz. How did you? I realized this could have been levied as a personal attack against you. I didn't think about it until I started playing it. But what were your thoughts hearing this?
So that whole clip was just so funny. The thing that I really latched onto there was two things. One, when he said, people really hate us white guys. And I was like, you sure, bro? You sure? It might be your fucking mustache. That might be why you're getting the hate. It might have nothing to do with the color of your skin. It might just be that god awful fucking mustache. But then the entire clip there, every sentence out of his mouth, he was just flaming American white women. And the girl next to him wasn't picking up or just ignoring it. Like, he was just like, yeah, you gotta settle for a fucking one of these fucking American women. And she's just like, yeah, no, you really shouldn't. And she's an attractive girl too. Like, it's not like it's just like they're racist. They're so racist. She is so racist that she is being seen publicly with that guy.
Yeah,
because she doesn't need this. Like, she could be a classic Fox News blonde girl. She's got the look. She's got the style. She's sitting next to that guy because she needs to be able to say passport bro culture is Jewish propaganda for you to create mongrels. Like that is insanity.
Yeah, and I mean, what she doesn't look like she's like even past her like mid or late 20s, whatever. Using the word like the term mongrel babies, like bringing back terms from the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's just the conservative media sphere. It's just I mean, race to the bottom sounds cliche and everything, but that's all they got. That's all they got. I don't know why this incendiary stuff. It's hard to even report on it anymore because like, oh yeah, we just know this, which is why I opened up saying that this is going to be every conservative 10 years from now, so just get used to it.
The other funny thing I noticed there is that their complaints have come full circle, TJ. Like,
yep, sure have. Yep.
It would be very common to hear not too long ago in conservative circles, oh, black people or this, whatever, insert X minority here. They don't actually have it that bad now. They're just looking for someone to blame for their problems that they're causing themselves. And it's like, okay, there's definitely people who cause problems for themselves and blame systems in order to avoid accountability for things that they couldn't prove in their own lives. 100% something that happens in all communities. All people fucking do this. But like that's exactly what he's doing here. Like he's just like, oh, these people hate me because I'm white. No, bro, they hate you because you're an asshole who doesn't know proper personal grooming. That is why people hate you, bro. It's nothing to do with your white skin. And it brings up the Charlie Kirk clip that went viral from his America Fest viewing. In fact, Colby asks, John, what do you do more? Apologize for being white or land acknowledgement? Where JD Vance was like, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore in this country. It's like, that's just as fake as the war on Christmas. No one has ever, like, as a white man in left-wing circles who has plenty of criticisms of the social dynamics and other problems with left-wing circles, I can talk to you all fucking day about it. Never once, never one goddamn time have I felt the need to apologize for being white. Not once in my entire life. It has never happened. No one in the history of America has had to apologize for being white. It is a fake issue, just as fake as the war on Christmas. I cannot believe a sitting vice president said that.
Have you done
I can believe it, unfortunately, but it's still just crazy.
Have you done any land acknowledgments though?
That's it. I've never done it. I have at least like witnessed land acknowledgments. I know they are a thing that are real, that does happen. I have never been part. I've never witnessed in real life a land acknowledgement actually happen. I do think those are crazy though. Like those are a thing that actually happens, and I think it's just, unless you are like literally like you're on like a Native American reservation or like a historical site, I can understand a land acknowledgement. Land acknowledgement in fucking like, I don't know, a business meeting in fucking Cleveland, Ohio. No, I don't think we fucking need that.
A land acknowledgement, the best comment I ever heard about land acknowledgement, the best description I ever heard about land acknowledgement is that just getting up there and saying that, well, this should belong to the Native Americans. It sounds like you're bragging. It sounds like you're flexing. Like it sounds like it's just salt in the wound that, you know who had this first? The Iroquois, or where are they at? They got shit to say? I don't think so. Yeah, it seems like a burn.
I've never heard a Native American do a land acknowledgement, TJ.
Yeah, it seems kind of insulting in a lot of ways. So yeah,
it does. It's always struck me as weird. That is one of those things. I'm with the Republicans on this.
Yeah,
land acknowledgement. That's fucking weird.
Yeah,
do I agree with them that we should just pretend like that fucking genocide never happened? No, I am not. We should definitely acknowledge that happened, but doing it before you sit down for brunch with your white girlfriends, that just, it does seem a little.
It does. Yeah, it seems a little. Seems kind of untoward. Colby wrote our only questioner today. For some reason, Colby said,
I feel like everyone is checked out for the holidays already. Maybe we should have canceled this show anyway.
Maybe.
But I'm glad to get the time to chat with you either way.
Of course. He says, TJ, how many whites have you asked to apologize for being white? I don't believe I've ever asked for an apology for being white. That's not something not a road I travel down. This is when I was watching that video with that guy saying that stuff, I wanted to make a joke about how he can't find any pure white women because I fucked them all. But I was like, no, Heather might watch this. I don't want her, I don't want her to hear me saying something like that. So, Heather, if you are watching this, I didn't make the joke. I was saying I was thinking about making the joke, and which so it doesn't count. You can't hold that against me or whatever. And so, oh no, it's 6:23. John, okay, God damn it. Oh, we were. You want to talk about Epstein stuff? I wanted to ask about Christmas traditions, but I want to get your Epstein stuff out of the way first, since you brought it up.
Like, honestly, my Epstein stuff, we barely even need to touch it. I don't. It's just I want to get your take. It's nothing burger. So
it's nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing burger. And the fact that the fact that they fucked it all up, they unredacted and then re-redacted. It's clearly messy. There's a lot of oh shit. Pam Bondi might go to jail for this, but like we're just sitting in the same boat we were before.
I'm not shocked. It's like at all. I'm just so goddamn sick and tired of this. I wanted to do some sort of content or some sort of video about this. That, you know what? It reminded me. It reminded me of when I was a kid, teenager, early college or whatever. There was this announcement, and NASA said, "Hey, we're going to be doing an announcement on Friday," and they didn't say what it was. But when NASA puts out a national announcement that, hey, we're going to be talking on this day, make sure you tune in, everyone's thinking the same thing. They're thinking, aliens, finally, let's go. And then they made the announcement, and they had found some microbe in some lake in Utah or whatever. And if I remember correctly, it was an arsenic-based life form instead of a carbon-based life form or something like that. And it lived in these extreme temperatures that we didn't think was possible. And so they said, well, since we found this sort of life, we can expand where we look for life. I was like, that was not worth a national announcement. And then like memes, like before memes were a thing, people were saying, listen, NASA, if it's not aliens, don't stop us dead in our tracks with this. That's the point I'm at with this Epstein shit. I do not care about the 30,000 emails or pictures released if there's nothing that can be brought that shows like criminal activity, right? Hey, he wrote the words from Lolita on this lady's foot. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Here's a picture with Donald Trump with some models. Don't care. Don't care at all. If you have something that you want to bring to like a criminal charge, all right, I'm in. Other than that, I don't even think it needs to be released. It's a waste of goddamn time. I mean, why are we holding all this news coverage for something that's not going anywhere? It's pissing me off.
It's actually beginning to disturb me how much. And I've touched a couple of them. You know, I've posted about a couple of them, but just how much every new release is being latched onto.
Yes.
It almost, and again, I will not give the Trump administration credit for this because they don't deserve it. This is clearly a clusterfuck. Colby said we're watching Veep in real time, and yes, we are. This is just incompetence at play. But the effect that it is having is it's desensitizing people.
Yep.
This drip feed of, did this letter to Larry Nassar saying that Trump likes new, like, bro, until we get, I don't need like a smoking gun. But I need something real, and nothing we've gotten is real, or at least any more real than anything else we've gotten. And the more you try and sensationalize little fucking crumbs, the more desensitized people are going to be. I honestly, I'm just like, yep. Well, the thing I focused on is the absolute gross incompetence and criminal denial of the rule of law from the DOJ and the Trump administration. Focus on that. I don't give a shit about any of the materials that have been released. They are hardly newsworthy. The newsworthy thing is not whatever the fuck was said in the files, whether this picture was here or not. No, fuck that shit. All that matters right now is that Pam Bondi is slow walking the release and redacting things that she is legally required to not redact. That's all you need to focus on right now. Everything else is sensationalist bullshit that is going to desensitize America for when the smoking gun finally drops.
And it's news for the sake of news, not actually anything of value, of importance. Maybe you could say that if something big does this started with Epstein thing with that fucking birthday card that Trump wrote to Epstein, and the Wall Street Journal released it, and it was this business like I'm sorry, there's nothing here. There's nothing that absolutely that's a smoking gun at all. I was bewildered at how people were going crazy with this, and it reminded me of last presidential cycle when Trump was, he was going on all these court trials and everything, and you'd hear stuff like, well, Trump was spotted outside of his plane wearing golf shoes, talking to all his friends. And why didn't they change out of their golf shoes? This is a big deal. It's what do they call it? Blue Anon. It's just like Democrats who are just latching on to anything to try to cobble together a conspiracy because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. That's it. It's astrology. It's wow. Look, Trump's name was mentioned 600 times in the Epstein file. What did it say? Did it say anything that implicated him directly? If not, then fuck off, right? It's just bothered me. So yeah, I'm glad you said the same thing, John, because I just kind of scroll past it. I saw headlines and everything, but until something of importance comes up, I'm not paying attention.
Yep. Nothing there anyway. And Mark said, "Evening, gents." Talking Epstein again. Mark, I hope you are excited by what we just had to say. Of everything that has been released thus far is bullshit that is not worth our attention. Anyway, TJ, you wanted to talk Christmas traditions?
I wanted to talk Christmas. Do you have any specific traditions? Like, I don't know, every family has weird things that they do that are kind of unique to them. Like for Easter, for example, my family, we had an Easter egg hunt. That's pretty normal. Everyone does that. But then we come inside the house and we kind of sneak attack other members of the family. Like, if you're sitting down watching football, someone could be hiding out on the couch and then smack you on the head with a boiled egg and an Easter egg and crack on. That's just kind of the thing we do. That's just our little thing. The closest thing we have to a tradition, I would say, for Christmas that's unique is that we are consistently late with putting up Christmas trees. December 15th on, that's when our tree goes up. And one year we actually put it up on Christmas Eve. I remember it's 24th. We kind of need to have it in there now. But do you have any particular things in your favorite?
Christmas Eve Christmas tree putting up is insane.
Yeah, only once.
For us, it's clockwork. It's Black Friday.
Okay.
Is when we put up the Christmas tree. But so the only one that I have that I feel like it's not like unique. It's barely even fucking newsworthy. I'm just answering the question you're putting in front of me. Is that we wrap a bunch of like shit dollar store little gimmicks in a bunch of layers of wrapping paper, and then we have to we put on fucking oven mitts and have to try and unwrap the wrapping paper, and then we pass it around, and whoever is next is rolling dice, and if they get doubles, then the gift ball gets passed. And it's the dumbest fucking thing that is actually really fucking fun. Like, it has become a tradition for us in the last like 5 years, but I feel like it's going to be here for the next 20.
That's funny. I like that. I like the unique thing like that. The closest thing I have to a gift wrapping tradition is that whenever I'm around my family, every year, 40 years, this has been happening, I feel like. Well, not 40, maybe 30 years. That's when I started noticing this, is that they unwrap the presents, and then you just toss the wrapping paper on the floor. And then about 8 presents in, you have this mountain of wrapping paper. And I remember it bugging me so much that Christmas starts, I always come to the tree holding a trash bag. I am like on it because it doesn't seem to bother anyone else. And other times I go to other people's houses for Christmas and they get the trash bag afterwards. Like, just bring the trash bag when you start. That way you can clean as you go. You don't got that mountain around you. I don't know. That's just kind of thing that bugs me. I like that. Also, I did a show with the Cultured Bumpkin, Jake Phillips. If you guys don't follow that guy, he's fantastic. Last week, and we talked about our favorite and least favorite Christmas songs. What is one of your favorites and one of your least favorites? I'll go first. Give you some time to think about it here. One of my favorite Christmas songs is "Happy Christmas, War Is Over" by John Lennon. I love that song. It's smooth. It's got the children's choir in there, which could go really wrong. It can sound creepy if you put a children's choir, but they nail it. And it's uplifting. It's about literal peace on earth and goodwill towards men. I love it. John Lennon, horrible person, but homeboy could write a hell of a song. That was great. Least favorite is going to be "Surely Having a Wonderful Christmas Time" by Paul McCartney. Fuck that song. That song is this dissonant cacophony of nonsense. I always say I feel like Paul McCartney lost a bet to see, or made a bet saying, "Hey, I bet I can write a really shitty song and still get it to chart." Turning Point USA. I remember why I thought of this just now. You were talking about how weird it is that like 16-year-old boys have turned into monks now, and that's the it thing. Paul McCartney is like this too. You ever hear that question that if you die and find out that life has been a simulation, what were some clues that should have like made it obvious for you? That song being popular 50 years, surely having one on Christmas night, I don't buy it. I do not believe millions of people like that nonsense. But how about you, Don? What are your favorite and least favorite songs?
So favorite, I can't even say, like, my favorite currently right now is Santa Claus is Coming to Town by the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. It is on the Philly Special Christmas album. Fucking love it. It's fantastic. Jason Kelsey really brings the house down. I did also say recently my favorite religious Christmas song. So we're just talking Jesus fucking songs, right? Songs you hear in church is Mary, Did You Know?
Oh my God!
You're fucking banger. Easily the best religious song, hands down. That song fucking claps.
John. That was on my list for my favorite Christmas songs that I did last. And here's the thing: the religious songs, it's not my favorite, but it's up there. It's in the top three. It's in the top three. I like "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" a lot. "Oh Holy Night" and stuff. "Mary, Did You Know?" This is I'm a little tangent about "Mary, Did You Know?" When my dad owned a store, like a consignment store, when I was a kid and everything, and I remember one day I was a teenager. I'm walking around and I see this sign that we had bought, and it just said "Mary, Did You Know?" And I had never heard the song "Mary, Did You Know" before, and I was like, "What's up with that sign?" I mean, I'm assuming it's the Mary. I'm gonna guess like it's the most famous Mary they're talking about here, and I think I get the question. But what's up with that sign? It was years later before I heard the song "Mary, Did You Know?" It was the Kenny Rogers version. Blown away. Oh, like, whoa, this song is incredible. I was just listening to it, was like, God damn, they were cooking the whole time. It was like this child you will deliver will soon deliver you. When you kiss this little baby, you kiss the face of God. Heaven's perfect lamb, this sweet child you're holding is the great I am. I was like, whoa. And then I found out during research for that show that "Mary, Did You Know" was written in 1985 by a guy named Mark Lowry. Now, that name probably doesn't mean anything to you, John. I'm guessing, right? You've never heard of Mark Lowry? When I was younger, I remember we would buy these tapes. It was like Christian comedy. And Mark Lowry is a Christian comedian. You've seen Christian comedians like Steven Crowder. I mean, he wasn't like as bigoted and racist as Steven Crowder, but it was just this goofy schlock. Even as a young man, I'm like, all right, this stuff, it's funny, I guess, but I see why he's a Christian comic and not a real comic. I couldn't believe this fucking idiot, this loser, wrote "Mary, Did You Know?" I've known this for 24 hours, and it is shaking me to the core, but God damn it. "Mary, Did You Know?" Excellent song. Fantastic choice.
Absolutely top tier. I do have some more song things, but Mike asked if he can you answer a question. That is a question mark. I will answer that one with a yes. You may ask another question. We are wrapping up here, though, so make it quick. Colby also said,
"Oh, come on,
dramatic for TJ because he was there for the crucifixion, resurrection, etc." Figured it'd bring up bad memories. I love the old TJ joke.
I wasn't even going to dignify that comment, but John, thank you for that.
Well, I had to, but yeah, honestly, like there is no there's no Christmas song that just gets under my skin too much. I'm not a huge fan of like Dominic the Donkey, I guess, but I feel like that's like a pretty cop-out answer because I feel like no one is.
I don't know.
But yeah, Mark, I don't care if it's not a quick question. I got nothing to do here. Merry Christmas. Feel free to answer it, and if we don't answer it, we'll make sure to answer it on.
We'll get it next time. Yeah.
Return. I'm engaged. Now I want to know what the fucking question is. Like Christmas. If they're bad, it's just like you just kind of don't listen to them. Like Christmas songs are not something that you're actively listening to anyway.
I couldn't disagree more. There are plenty of Christmas songs that I hate. Another one I hate is "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Not because the music is bad, but what a fucking condescending thing to say. When I heard that song for the first time, I was like, "Have yourself a merry little." Who the fuck do you think you are? And people say that, oh, it's not condescending. I challenge anyone to give me a sentence that starts with, "Hey, you have a nice little," and end it with anything and tell me it's not condescending. And they respond with saying it's from the movie Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland. If you watch the movie, you'd understand. And what I always say, you shouldn't have to do homework for the shit to make sense. I shouldn't have to watch a 2-hour movie to understand why this song isn't insulting me and my little family, my little Christmas. I hate that. In the bleak midwinter, I don't even know that song, but that's a popular Christmas song. I don't know, I hate it. But another one, I don't hate this song. I actually kind of like this song, but there is a part in it that bothers me, and I'm sure you've heard this, John. There's no way you haven't. And it's the Christmas song by Andy Williams, where it's the most wonderful time of the year. And he says, there'll be parties for hosting. Okay, all right, we're good so far. Marshmallows for toasting. Fuck you. Okay, this is Christmas. No one roasts marshmallows or toasts marshmallows on Christmas over a fire or whatever. Yeah, if you want to say, yeah, they toast marshmallows on the yams or something. You know that's what he's talking about. And then the caroling out in the snow. All right. And then the part that's bothered me since childhood, the scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. No, people do not tell ghost stories around a fire during Christmas. And whenever I say this, John, you may be able to identify with this, that one of the perks of being smarter than everybody else is that you know what they're going to say. You can already predict what they're going to come back with. And they always say, well, a Christmas Carol is a scary. All right, fuck you. The lyric says scary ghost stories, plural. Christmas story is one. It's the only one anyone come up with. And may I add, not a fucking scary story. Christmas Carol is a story with two arguably scary parts. The Jacob Marley part, that's scary in the beginning of the book. When Marley comes up, Ghost of Christmas Future, not scary. Some people say it is. I say it's not scary because what is the message from the Ghost of Christmas Future? Hey, one Christmas you'll be dead. No shit. No shit. Scrooge knew that. Scrooge was not shocked by the fact that he would be dead eventually in some Christmas. I don't even count that as scary. That's just knowledge he already knows. And then another one is, I love this song too, and this is Nat King Cole, which I don't think he's ever done a bad Christmas song. Every one is great. But he says, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. And that one I have beef with that one because I remember saying, oh, I should try chestnuts like on a fire or roast the chestnut. Awful. Dog shit. It's terrible. I don't know if you tried it, John, but hot chestnuts, not. It was funny to say. I don't know, but hot chestnuts. Not worth the experience. So yeah, that's my short list right there.
See, I feel like a lot of the songs that they can be good with the right performer. Like that's my thing with the Christmas songs. There's very few. I've never really had that grudge with the ghost stories thing, but now I will forever. Like you're right. That's a ridiculous line. Shouldn't exist. Yeah, that one sucks.
The actual answer, because it's been bugging me for a long time. The actual answer that makes it make sense somewhat, I will still add, is in the Victorian era, it was a common thing to tell ghost stories during Christmas time of multiple types, and maybe roasting marshmallows too, I don't know. But my response to that is, okay, it's still stupid because Andy Williams did not live in the fucking Victorian era. He lived in the 1950s. Your parents or grandparents were alive in the 50s and 60s. I guarantee they weren't sitting around telling ghost stories either. It's a shit ass lyric. I love the song, but the lyric it annoys me. It's not a bad song. It just bothers me.
Jaden Foster says Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas, Jaden.
Thanks, Jaden.
He says Feliz Navidad is very catchy. Might be my favorite. It's catchy. I would not say it's my favorite. Loved it as a kid. But Mark's question, which he said admittedly does feel stupid after TJ monologuing about his nuts, was, just so we can get to it, and a Merry Christmas, Mark. Here's a free answer question. I want to know what y'all's definition of affirmative action. How should it be used for hiring? That's what I'm curious about. I don't know why this is a topic right now, Mark, but I will answer the question. I don't know if I have a staunch definition of affirmative action. I consider it any of the racial quotas for hiring and that sort of thing. I think that the situation can be pretty much better resolved through complete blind hiring. Take names and any identifying cultural information off of resumes and put it in there, and you will see much more even equitable results. If you put a white name and a black name on the same exact resume, the white name is 50% more likely to get an interview than the black name. This has been a study repeated many, 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 many times throughout history, and even just having that completely blind hiring process would be a much better way to solve the problem of racial inequities in hiring, at least in 2025, than affirmative action is. That's my 2 cents on it. But, you know, my opinion is obviously worth more on this than TJ's, but I will allow TJ to speak on it as well.
Oh man. So from my what is like the actual like legal definition of it? I think that's important if we're going to go into this.
I'll
Like,
look that up for you here, TJ.
yeah, because now the first thing that comes to my mind is schools. Like yours was jobs, mine was schools. Because schools, I have a better understanding on that one. Well, I get on both pretty well, but the schools is that a lot of times that you will have faculty or what they call admission staff, and they won't look in certain areas because they don't match how the criteria was set by the school. So, like, I don't know, like say the school is really looking for people with advanced placement classes or something, but there's large swaths of schools that have no advanced placement classes. And the school's like, oh, we're missing out on a lot of people here because we're not interviewing or taking into consideration people who don't fit this certain path, this trajectory. And this is what gets so annoying when people talk about, I know we're going to work school eventually, but when they talk about schools and they're admitting the blacks and they're just putting the dumb folks in there, it's like, no, you still got to pass everything. You still got to like meet the actual criteria to get in the school. And it's, yeah, so if you went to a small school and you didn't have a program that did actual letters for sports or whatever, that's a knock against you, even though it's not your fault, even though you're perfectly capable of attending Harvard or Yale based on, you know, your interviews, your contacts, your essays, your referrals and stuff. You can find people who would do pretty well. So that seems to make sense to me. Like that just if you just, it's not about, hey, we need 4% of the population to be of this ethnicity, 5%. No, that's ridiculous. No, that's insane. That should never. But expanding your pool to make sure you're getting people who would fit that you would miss out otherwise is important because, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm rallying off on this, but you'll see this where someone says, I got, you know, this really high score on the SATs and I have a 5.1 GPA and I'm a rock star student and I didn't get accepted to Berkeley. It's like everyone who applies to Berkeley is a rock star student. Okay. Everybody. Okay. You could make an argument that that like 90% of the people who apply can get these seats. They're only accepting a small group. And the goal of these colleges is more than just, hey, I want the person with the best GPA. That's not how they pick this shit. First off, you have legacy admissions, which is just your parents were rich or went to school here. They don't give a shit about your GPA. You donate money, you buy a wing at the school, and now your kid's in. And the other thing is that this is an actual experience of building a culture around you. Like they want to build a certain population of people there, and they want it to be representative of the nation as best as they can, as long as you have people who are intelligent enough to meet the goals. Now, when it comes to job placement, what did you find, John? Like, what's the actual legal definition for like job hiring with affirmative action?
So the actual definition, this is from Oxford Dictionary. Affirmative action is, in the context of allocation of resources or employment, the practice or policy of favoring individuals belonging to groups regarded as disadvantaged or subject to discrimination.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't. I mean, like, how does it? Like, that doesn't tell me that. Because to answer Mark's question, like, if you have a policy in, I'd like to see where this is. I don't think this exists, honestly. But hey, we need to have 5% or 10%. That has to be this rule. We don't care if they qualify or not. That's bullshit. I don't think that's. I haven't seen that. You hear stories about this, or it's like, oh well, you know, I didn't get the job because they hired that Asian lady because they wanted to, you know, bring more to. Yeah, that's what people say, but is that actually reflected in the actual policies? No, because that's actually illegal, right? You can't do that. That is a violation of business and contract law. So yeah, I don't know, like. I assume that's what Mark is talking about, is should you hire colored folks regardless, like Charlie Kirk's thing that they're letting black pilots fly these planes even though they don't know how to do it. It's not a thing, really.
Yeah. So and yeah. So Mark says the policy is favoring John describes neutral hiring. Here's the thing, that like the bias that I just referred to, that is neutral. Like there's no necessarily bigotry involved. You can have totally normal fucking people. Doesn't matter. Like we have proved this time and time and time again. Just having Deshaun Jackson versus John Smith. John Smith will get 50% more interviews than Deshaun Jackson with the same fucking resume. It just will happen that way. And so if that, again, like I'm a big, if you can have a market-based solution to a problem, I'm actually usually for the market-based solution to the problem. But when we just put this on the free open market, we end up with an inoptimal solution in which, just by the nature inherent in our prejudices as a society, that is what happens. We end up with more white people getting this that are equally qualified, getting the jobs, and less black people doing so. And if you extrapolate that just a little tiny bit, it's pretty reasonable to assume that for the entire course of American history, white people who are less qualified have gotten the job over minorities who were not. And that is so fucking obvious. There's no fucking way you can tell me that if you, even today, you look at the percentage of white men in C-suite positions, in positions of political power, that was just by natural free markets arriving at the best possible solution to a hiring problem. No, it's not. It's because of all of these very complex cultural prejudices that we have in our society. And so the easy way of fixing that is just saying we're going to have quotas. We're going to make sure we hire this many people from this area or whatever. And is that an elegant solution? Does that actually always address the problem? No. But do I even believe that it makes it less likely to be hired for a position that you're qualified for because you're white? No fucking way. There's no fucking way. That's just not how it works. It's not how our entire history of a country has worked. There is no way the pendulum has swung so hard in the, let me remind you, 60 years since black and white people became equal in this country. There's no way the pendulum has swung that far that suddenly it's a disadvantage to be white because of these, and admittedly sometimes taking a sledgehammer to a scalpel situation when it comes to these policies. But yeah, that's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, I do. I do like to point out that black people had rights for like 15 years the day I was born. I want to point that out. Like that is how recent this kind of stuff is. And what did Colby finally said something funny? TJ trying to get a 50% boost in his resumes. TJ Whitehead trying to get a 50% boost. Very funny. That's pretty good.
His name was, like, the family name was Blackhead, and then they changed it. They became landlords.
All right, holy shit! You know what? I'm nothing but nice to you guys. I have nothing but nice to you guys, and this is how you repay me, motherfuckers. Yeah, I don't know. This is the hiring policy, and the Army had so. One day I had my hair kind of like I have it now, like toward the end of my career in the Army, and which is it's still in regulations or whatever, but I got called into my commander's office and he says, "Hey, is your hair in regulation?" And I said, "Well, my hair doesn't touch my ears. It's not longer than my collar or whatever. I think it is." He says, "Yeah, but," and I did check the regulations before I grew my hair out. And he says that, "Well, the regulation also says that you can't have a faddish haircut." It does say that. And I said, "Well, faddish is kind of subjective, right? Like, what does that even mean?" He says, "Okay, you're right. But here's the thing." He said, "You have to take your DA photos, your Department of the Army photo you put on your resume, basically, what you go for promotions and stuff." And he says, "And I just want you to know that the people who look at these resumes, they do not look like us." He says, kind of very important to keep that in mind, that when they're judging like what a professional haircut looks like, it's going to be what a white guy would have. That you have to kind of, and so the Army, since I've been out, they've actually gotten rid of the photos. You don't see the photo anymore. And, that has its ups and downs because, they use the photo to judge your professionalism and everything like that. But going towards neutrality is kind of the right way to go. But yeah, I agree, John. Sorry, kind of ran off course.
As you always say, if it didn't work, the military wouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
TJ, any last things to wrap up this last show of the 2025
this is
year?
good stuff. Yeah,
we'll be back on not next week.
Following week.
And we should have. We'll make sure to prepare this. But last year we did a reward show on the first episode of the year for 2025 awards, and we should do that again. So definitely, hit us up in comments, in emails to leftwingpod@gmail.com, to our DMs, whatever, if you have some year superlatives and awards that you'd like to see us give out. But TJ, any last thoughts?
My last thoughts about this year is that hopefully next year will be hell of a lot better. I just think this was a really tough year. I'm not talking about politics and social media creation and stuff, but even personally, it's been super difficult. So I don't have any reason to believe that the political landscape is going to be better next year. But who knows? What about you, John? What do you think?
We do have the midterms next year, which we do expect to dominate, and that could create some positive momentum that could get us feeling otherwise. But goddamn, you're right. I'm not looking forward to anything, guys. Maybe it will happen, and that will be a wondrous day in 2026. And hey, YouTube censors, it could be anything.
Yep.
I could be talking about literally anything when I say that, and there's no way to prove otherwise. But yes, Colby says the next show is January 6th. Thank you, Colby, for knowing our schedule better.
Take it back. Time to rise up. Time for our own. The left needs their own January 6th. That should be the slogan now. Because
the left needs our own January 6th. There we go. Left wing January 6th.
Yeah, January 6th. It worked. It fucking worked. Take from that what you will.
Mark says, John, you got married this year. What a great year. My personal life has been fucking fantastic this year. The stuff that I talk about online, fucking horrible. It actually makes the talking about this shit online even more grinding because I've had a pretty decent year in my personal life, and I'm just like, fuck, gotta get back to this shit again.
Yeah, it is tough, and it's not live. And I will say too, my personal life has been really great this year too. It's just a whole lot of John say I feel like I'm gone half the shows now. I'm traveling around way more than I did the year before. I literally moved. I got a new position. Yeah, it's just been a lot. So yeah. Oh, one more thing, John, real quick. Calling you out in public like this. There were two people at the wedding who Heather and I talked to, and we wanted to get them on the show. Do you remember their names? She was
supposed to be here right now.
Are you serious? Oh,
physically, but then she couldn't make it. So I was going to surprise you with it, and then
shit! Wait, did you just make that up? Did you?
No, I didn't. Literally, we were talking about it a couple days ago. I was like, she was like, "Oh, I'm around for Christmas," and I was like, "Oh, come on."
All right, next Christmas then. All right,
we'll get there. Colby wants John's wife on the show. John's wife will come on if John's wife wants to come on. She is her own person and doesn't want to be a public figure as of right now. So not that getting on this show makes you a public.
We'll get her.
If she wants to be on, Colby, I will personally DM you and tell you that she'll be on.
Good stuff. All right, folks. See you next time. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.